Guys, I think I might have a problem. I've been playing like all 3 slots Soul Weaver for a little bit too long, and I think it's starting to affect me. I'm having a lot more fun playing with just Soul Weavers than I am anything else. So let's go ahead and let's break down what we're doing here. We're basically fighting an extremely thick team. There's Troublemaker, Crozet, there's ae-KARINA, and there's Apocalypse Ravi. They're all in like the 20Ks. They're all thick as shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Magic Scholar Doris, who is there purely to just tank the Ravi. The Sharun's there to help spread venom and to boost up our Death Dealer Ray because we recently fixed his equipment and now he has the highest attack. So now he's the one who's going to be getting little bitty boosts and basically making everybody else's day a living fucking nightmare. So we've already had our first turn. It's been a hot minute because I actually slowed my Death Dealer Ray down a little bit, but what I also did was I gave him some much thicker gear, and he is also really, really high on effect resist. So I can kind of like just let him go into stuff, which is super sweet. So, hey, he's taken 2 turns now, and we already have 2 units that are looking very, very thin. It looks like that weight loss program that I've got Dr. Ray going, having these people, these super thick units going to, is having quite an effect. So all we have to do now is just give them their little vial of green Kool-Aid, and as soon as we do that, then, hey, everything should turn out really, really well. Wouldn't you say? I would say so. So I can't tell you how much fun I'm actually starting to have with Death Dealer Ray. I fucking love this character. Because, like, hey, I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen to them? Are they just going to die? Oh, fuck, they did. Oh, God, it feels so good, dude. Death Dealer Ray is easily probably some of the most fun I've had in a hot fucking minute. And what sucks about this, though, well, it both sucks and is also kind of hilarious at the same time. Pretty much ever since Last Piece Corinne came out, and when Arunka got her big buffs, like, Savior Aiden is just, like, nowhere. I haven't really seen a Savior Aiden in Guild War in a hot fucking minute. And because of that, well, I mean, I don't really need to do, like, extensive, like, super heavy, like, death bait kind of dark death bait kind of units. I just don't have to do that. Like, Savior Aiden's not there, and I also like, whenever Last Piece Corinne came out, I was trying my damnedest to just try and get to use her for like a week, but there was no Last Piece Corinnes. I don't know if it's the fact that, like, maybe our rank went down, maybe, I don't know, we need to have more people doing some attacks and not being utter traps, but, like, I don't know, man. Either way, I haven't been able to fight much Savior Aidens, and because of this, I'm fighting a whole lot more of, like, super thick units, and because of that, hey, this looks like a prime opportunity to check out Dr. Ray. But hey, with that said, that first team is done. Now let's move on to the next one. So this is Conqueror, Lilias, Senya, Choux. It's one of those typical teams that I talk about a lot. So what I was wanting to try and do here was I have Arunka, and I have Shana, and I have Mediator Kawerik. So I noticed that Arunka didn't have any attack down on her. So I attempted just go into Choux just to do damage. I wasn't expecting this to kill. Still, it did almost 20k. Hey, that's pretty nice. Whatever. And that was also without attack buff, by the way. So yeah, no attack buff. Still did pretty big fucking damage. So if you have a very, very effective way of getting attack buff, like if your Mediator Kawerik is faster, or if your Arunka is slower, something like that, that's guaranteed 100%, no question about it, easy. Choux is dead on turn 1 every single time. Now, because I wasn't expecting to kill the Choux immediately, that's why I brought Shana there. Shana is there specifically just to bait the Choux. However, I still have to deal with shit like this. So yeah, that's a counterattack into a follow-up attack. I just took 10k on a attack down Choux. Yay, I love HP scaling units too, don't you? Now, thankfully she was low. Arunka took her turn. We hit into her, and we also got her a follow-up attack, so hey, that kind of works out. And then because Shana is actually built with a fair amount of effectiveness as well as effect resist, I'm able to strip the Senya. Don't have to really worry about that. And then I soul burn this on Arunka, and this actually kills the Senya. Now, pay attention to how much damage is being done here. I think that first attack was like, what, 5k or something? This is through a barrier. That's another 5k, and then you get the additional damage from the Uber's Tooth. That's a fuckload of damage. And this one wasn't even rocking like the typical 18k HPs that you normally see Senyas have. So, like, it's still pretty effective, because Senyas can't afford to go into, like, defensive stats. They just can't. Just how it is. But either way, that was the first round. Let's go into the next one. Uh-oh. It's time to use all of our Soul Weavers again. So, yeah, full disclosure real quick. I came into this Guild War super, super late, so all of the big towers were already dead, so this is a small tower. Now, one thing you're probably immediately noticing is, okay, so that's a Ruele, Adventurer Raz, and a fucking Dark Corvus? Okay, well, I'll straight up tell you right now, if I didn't want to use Death Dealer Ray, I could just straight up bring a Illinev into this, and I would utterly farm the ever-living shit out of it. Now, I didn't feel like using Lionheart today. I really, really wanted to just use Death Dealer Ray. I wanted to see how far I could really go with this unit. So here, if you're seeing this, you already can pretty much figure out, hey, who's the biggest threat on the team? Well, that'd be Dark Corvus. Now, Dark Corvus is only going to go into Magic Scholar Doris, and because of that, well, as soon as you injure him enough, then he just doesn't do enough damage, because the AI also never soul burns, so he's losing even more damage. Like, this is where, like, Dark Corvus, as amazingly broken as he is on offense in Guild War, he will never truly be a threat on defense, and this is the main reason why. Is because you lose so much damage because you can't soul burn, you lose damage because if you get injured, even like once, you're just permanently doing less damage, and if you have any one like light unit that can just tank the hit, like for example, if I had any other form of healing for this, instead of bringing Magic Scholar Doris, I could have brought General Purgus. General Purgus is one hell of a counter to fucking Dark Corvus, because he has such huge ass HP, and he just boosts your team up because he's going to keep hitting him. You can use that to your advantage to just like zoom across the map. And then there's another really good light unit that's actually built to be a wall, and that's Eaton. He's a 3-star light hero. Like, I just don't have my Eaton built. I'm eventually going to have him built, though, because he seems like a really, really good candidate for the protection set. I'm going to do that eventually. But yeah, you can pretty much tell from looking at this, like, the Raz is actually not really doing much of anything, because Raz really, really functions well when you have, like, a high attacking unit. Now here, he's there to, like, protect the Dark Corvus, but, like, still, the way in which Raz protects a backline unit, it's really not as useful as you might be thinking, because what I'm utilizing here is a whole bunch of additional damage stuff, and that makes Raz do next to fucking nothing. And also, his barrier protection stuff, he only does that once. If anything, he probably needs to be buffed or whatever. But either way, we've already killed Raz, and like the Dark Corvus is massively injured, so he's super nerfed. He cannot possibly kill my Magic Scholar Doris. It's just not going to happen. And as soon as I get the opportunity to just go off even more with my Death Dealer Ray, hey, they have no chance of like coming back from this. Which, as much fun as I am having with injury, I still do firmly believe, like, and I may be catching shit for this, it may be a hot take for it or whatever, but I still think injury actually does need a counter. And, like, the current counter for injury is basically, oh, just have a barrier set. I don't think that's, like, an effective counter, because there's not really, like, great methods of barrier. Like, the only ones that really come across of, like, oh, they are barrier units are, like, Fallen CC, and even she's been power corrupt to hell and back. Unbound Knight Arowell, but she only gets those big barriers, like, every 2 or 3 turns. I think her S3 is a 3-turn cooldown. But, like, those are, like, the big ones that I can immediately think of. But, like, I think we need a unit that actually heals injury. Or something. Because, like, even whenever you revive an injured unit, they come back with injury. So it's like, I just don't know. I'm so, like, on the fence about injury, because, like, I love using it, but at the same time, I fucking hate fighting it. So, like, hey, that's just how it is right there. And with that, that's the end of this fight. So, next one. Now, this is something that, okay, yeah, you can look at this and say, okay, yeah, you're being a little bit cheeky. And yeah, yes, I am. So it's Iseria, Righteous Thief Ruezid of all fucking characters, and Dark Corvus. So why am I using this setup of units? Well, quite frankly, it's because this guy drafted like a really, really bad defense. So yeah, you have Unbound Knight Arowell, Destina, so 2 really, really strong tank down units, and the last unit is Lionheart Cermia. So that's actually somewhat decent in terms of, oh, hey, cool, I kind of want to survive here, but you have one gaping huge hole in your defense. And that's this. If I extinct the Light Cermia, which I'm doing a metric shitload of damage because I have a soul burn immediately at the start, I can soul burn my S3, I can get my S3 immediately, and then I can kill you in one shot, even through the damage mitigation, damage sharing, and the barriers. So, there. She's already extinct. The fight is over. And it's because of that. So this is like a textbook example of why you should probably never have a defense with only 1 DPS and have 2 like support units. You can pull that off in an offense because you have control over the units that you're doing. But whenever you do that in defense, like the AI sometimes isn't smart enough to help you. And in this particular situation, like this is free to Dark Corvus. And Iseria was there to give myself Devil's Descent at the start and to give me 10 souls. So now that I have those 2 things, the reason why Righteous Thief Ruezid's there is because if you actually have Peyra's artifact on him, Goblet of Oath, you can basically use S3, S2, S3, S2, S3, S2 on every single one of his turns, and then you won't be able to like go through that loop anymore because you can do that for 3 turns. So hey, if you want speed buff, that's how you get it. And yeah, my Ruezid's stats aren't really the greatest, but like, hey, it was fun to use. Like, I really kind of wish Ruezid was like had a little bit higher base speed. It feels like he should, because like it feels like we have way too much speed on other characters that are busted as shit because of all the effectiveness things that they do or all the crazy ass damage that they do. And then you have a support character like Ruezid who's just like, oh, he's just kind of mid. Kind of sucks, man. I hate that. So, final match. Now, this was one that I was actually the most worried about. Now, the reason why I was worried about it was I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to deal with the Spector Tenebria. I wasn't too worried about the Destina because whenever you have Ray buffs up on your Sharun, you're more than likely going to go through and you're going to hit the Destina. Now, this Destina just straight up doesn't have enough effect resist anyway because I was able to immediately land an S3 on her. But now that she's already blown her load on the S3, now we just have to worry about the Belian and the Spector and Tenebria. Now, like I said before, the Belian I'm not too worried about. It's just the Spector. Now, the reason why Spector kind of scares me is, like I said, I don't know if I'll have enough damage to go around to kill her. Because my only AoE is Sharun. That's the only one. The only other AoE is Death Dealer Ray's S3. So, what I decide to do is I want to go for max injury as soon as possible on Belian. Because the weaker she is, like the less damage she'll do and the less of a threat she is. Now, thankfully, this Belian is also not on injury. Which, that doesn't really matter. Injury will not actually affect my team all too bad. If anything, counter is actually kind of worse. But, either way, hey, the Belian's like almost dead already. God, this shit feels evil, doesn't it? But, so, all we have to do is we're ready and willing to go ahead and go with the S3 on Death Dealer Ray again, and then we'll see where we can go from here. So, I'm still going for it in terms of the AoE that Sharun has, just to kind of spread any and all kind of damage possible. Like, because slow is helpful, all this shit's helpful. Now, here's the big one, because this is also going to put Spector Tenebria to sleep. And because of that, now she's, like, out of turn, and I can still keep going on my S2 for Death Dealer Ray. So, the only other threat now is Destina, but she doesn't have enough effect resist to really be a threat. And because of that, I can injure her too. Because as soon as she reaches 50% injury as well, I can pretty much just kill her in one hit with Death Dealer Ray's S3. God, the damage that thing does just on an injured opponent is so fucking good, man. It feels amazing. So, now, my initial concerns were Spector Tenebria, but because of, like, the slowdown I have on her and just the sleeps that I was able to do, like, straight up, looky here, Death Dealer Ray's ready to go again. And if I just don't get 15%ed, I'm just, like, 100% in the clear. And I've been hit a few times as well by the Spector Tenebria, and it really didn't do too much damage. Thankfully, that's why, like, Magic Scholar Doris was there, because she does, like, little tiny baby heals whenever a dark unit hits her, and she has AoE def buff and AoE heal buff. She has a CR push on her S3, which is also a mega heal. Man, dude, using 3 Soul Weavers into Guild Wars feels fucking good, man. Here, drink your medicine, fucking bitch. Now, for the final match, I just decided to play it safe. Now, when I say I decided to play it safe, because this is an Angel of Light, it's Mercedes, and it's Choux. Now, something a little weird happens right here, something I was absolutely not expecting. So I was initially going to just go into Angel of Light, because I was like, oh, okay, like, we'll just deal with her, and then whenever I get the chance, I'll, like, extinction the Mercedes whenever the hell I want. And, oh, did you see what I just saw? Yeah, that's an injury Mercedes. So, because that's an injury Mercedes, okay, plans changed. We need to kill the injury Mercedes immediately, because as soon as Dark Corvus gets injured, we lose a shitload of damage, and the more injury we sustain, the more damage the Choux ultimately going to be doing, because our HP pool is going to be lower. And we don't want to fucking deal with that. So the next turn that we get, which unfortunately, we're still going to get hit by 2 hits here. Not too big, not too horrible, whatever. So now that we dealt with that, next turn we get, we'll just kill the Mercedes, and then after that, we'll just kind of tank whatever it is that the Choux puts out. Because, like, yeah, that's not even that bad. Mainly, you could pretty much just attribute that to Proof of Valor being a broken fucking artifact. That, and just Dark Corvus being an absolute fucking monster. I mean, either way, you can look at it either way you wish. But yeah, now that we've dealt with the Mercedes, all we have to do is just wait on every turn that Choux goes. If she gets some follow-up attacks, okay, cool. Yeah, that's a pretty big amount of damage, but we didn't take a lot of injury damage. And we have 2 healers here. We have 1 reviver. We have 1 that reacts off of counterattacks. We have 1, like, we just have a metric fucking shitload of healing. And we also have, like, a lot of effect resist on Destina, so if we need to, we can always cleanse our Dark Corvus or whatever. Like, yeah, that's just how it is. So the next turn that I get, I'm going to go into the Choux, I'm going to burn it, and I'm going to kill her. Because I didn't take enough injury damage. My damage is still really, really high. Like, this will kill her. And because of that, all you're left with is AOL, and whenever all you have left is AOL, you've already won. AOL can do nothing by herself. So I edit this together, and I just take her out as well. Well, well, well. That's the Guild War. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. So, in other news, yeah, I really don't have much else to talk about other than the burn that I was talking about a couple of days ago. Yeah, my arm looks like fucking bacon, but thankfully I think it is starting to heal up. It should be good to go. I would say probably, I don't know, maybe my Monday or whatever. But the other thing I wanted to tell you as well is I did recently get ML Roana. I'm not sure how I feel about her yet, because I was able to get her stats up fairly decently, but I don't know if I have enough, like, tankability on her. I have her on an attack set with, like, a bunch of effect resist, a little bit of some effectiveness, and I just don't think I have enough I don't have enough defense, and I don't have enough HP. I'll certainly give it a shot, and we'll see how we do. But I don't know. I'll try, and I'll see if I can throw her in on a Friday Guild War. But like I said, guys, there's not going to be a Friday Guild War. I'm going to be out of town. I'll see if I manage to record any good stuff. I'll see if I can get it made, like, on Sunday or whatever. But yeah, that being said, we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. But hey, I hope you guys are having a wonderful time with the new profile creator that's in the game. Don't be making any naughty stuff now, because if you do, there's a chance they'll take it away from us, and I'm actually enjoying a lot of the shit you guys are making. But either way, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, leave a like. It makes me feel good about myself. And if you want to see more of my content, hit subscribe. Have a good one. Later.